Good morning. This is Holly with Wild Blessings, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity to kind of virtually take you with me through a forage to feast. So first I want to introduce to you my guests and my good friends. This here is Lori Betts, and this is Allison Dees, and this is Lisa Wallace, newly married. And so I just am thrilled to have them here, and they will be sharing as well a little bit as we go further into our class. But I wanted to talk about where I have been foraging, and so our lunch is going to be almost completely wild. But yesterday was so exciting to me because as I went foraging, it's November the 19th, and there's not a whole lot out there that's not in the roots or the bark. But the seeds are what you're looking for this time of year. And so we have burdock seeds, and we have lots of lamb's quarter seeds, and we have mustard seeds, which is what you make mustard out of. And we have amaranth seeds, which is the highest in protein of all the seeds. And then we have a mystery seed. And every time I find something that I don't recognize, I always take it home and take pictures of it and put it on Botany Every Day and ask my friends on Botany Every Day, what is this? And so that's a really good way that you can do the same to expand your knowledge of the gifts God has given us. So I'm excited about these. And so what I'm going to be doing with these is I'm going to be de-seeding them. And I showed you how to do that in class last week, and it's kind of a mess, so I'm not going to do that now. But I will do a video of de-seeding these so you can see each seed is got the life in it and so much hope. And so think about the millions of plants that can be grown just from the seeds that are on my counter right now, and I just spilled them on the floor, so they're all over the floor as well.
And some of them got caught on my shirt.
I'm sorry.
Well, the burdock.
The
burdock
yeah.
does, so there you go.
Right.
That's one way that seeds will
yeah.
travel.
But I want to just kind of give you a little caveat, a little bit of a warning. Never ever de-seed outside, even if it's a beautiful day, because these seeds are like having wanton sex or something. It's like they spread everywhere, and you certainly do not want these seeds where you don't want them. And so as much as I love wild edible plants, I want them where I want to plant them. And since we're talking about the wild garden and how to intentionally bring the wild home and put it on your land, each plant has a different place where it wants to thrive and where you want it to thrive. So we'll talk about that on Tuesday. I just had to show you that I got this amazing selection, and I'm pretty excited about it. Let's see. Lisa, can you take this and stick it in my bedroom or something?
No, just put it on the table.
Well, it's going to fall down. See, it doesn't hold well. Be careful. Okay, yikes. All right, so we start off every class herbing around, and so my friends came, they just arrived, and what I'm going to have them do is each of them is going to be working on the table. So Allison, come on over here, hon. So I made a Hawthorn Elixir. And what you want to do with this is you want to catch the haws after they have had the first frost and they have bledded, is what it's called. And that's when they are the most medicinal. And this is probably the most powerful heart tonic of all of the plants. And clearly it is. Look it up and you won't believe it. In fact, when you look at hawthorn thorns, you can tell it's a very protective tree. And the crown of thorns, many believe, was made from hawthorn. You can imagine how painful this would have been on Jesus' precious head as they were mocking him as King of the Jews. So anyway, I love hawthorn. And what I did is I took local honey and brandy and my haws, and every day I have kept it in the dark in my pantry. I would shake it, and when I'm shaking it, I'm praying for the person I'm going to give this to, or for my own self, because I have my own heart issues. We all do. And this is such a good tonic, not just for people who have healthy hearts that want them healthier, but for people who have heart needs. So anyway, I'm excited about this. So what she's going to do is she's going to take, when you get back over to the table, she's going to press, get rid of the seeds, and you use a sieve, and she's going to dump this through the sieve, and then using the back of a spoon or like a wooden pestle, she's going to press out as much of the menstruum or the liquid as possible. And then she's going to take this funnel, and where did I put it? Is that it? That's
Hawthorn
it.
tonic,
That's it. Okay, then she's going to pour the minestrone into this jar. And it's really important to label your jars. I learned that the hard way because you think, oh, I'll remember what this is. But honestly, they start to multiply and breed, and you forget what's what. And so therefore, it's good to label it before you put them in. So that'll be the Hawthorn tonic. And then this is a Hawthorn vinegar. So when she's done with that, she'll rinse out the container and do the same thing, actually I would do this one in here, and then you're going to take this Hawthorn and put it in there. And when we make our salad dressing today, we'll be using the Hawthorn infused vinegar. And actually this is not made with apple cider vinegar. This was a Hawthorn made into a vinegar. So this is pretty awesome. So this is also a gift. And so I cannot wait to give this to the person I made it for.
Is this berries? What part
Yeah,
is
those
this?
are the haws. They're
the
called
haws.
haws.
Okay.
H-A-W-S.
So it's made with the
So-
same thing, just
Yep,
different
yep.
liquids.
Yep. And the way you make this is you simply add water and then a little bit of sugar, and then it ferments over about 5 or 6 weeks. And so then you've got vinegar.
Makes its own vinegar.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep. Okay, so can you take that out to the living room?
All right.
Okay, Lori dear. So one of the things we're going to have for lunch today is hickory nut milk, which is my new obsession, and I think you're going to love it too.
Okay.
And the hickory, I have a shagbark hickory grove right next to my house. I have one down the hill, and I have one over the other end of the mountain, and I've got them at the top of Peaceful Acres, and I've been collecting hickories. And if you want to learn about that, I did a whole class on it. You want to do the float test, and the ones that sink are the good ones, and the ones that float you want to scoop out and just use for firewood. So what Lori's going to do is she's going to take these nuts and she's going to crack them. And go ahead and open that for me. And then she's just going to put them inside of this jar. Then after she's got these all done, these have all been cracked, she's going to put maybe half of that in here and then fill it up with water and get it simmering now, because we want to have this with our dessert.
Okay.
And I made a pumpkin bread, and I have autumn olive berry, hickory nut treats, chocolate treats for dessert. So this is what you're going to be doing.
Okay.
Okay, and so back to, actually Lisa, I'm going to have you do this instead of the Rush Glabra. This is Beautyberry. Can you get me those little purple berries without tripping on the, do you see them on top of the counter there? Thanks. Okay. This is Beautyberry, and I found wild grape. And so one of the things I was telling y'all about in class last week is that when you're foraging, don't just look around and look at your feet, look up. And so I've been obsessed with looking at the clouds and looking at the leaves as they come fluttering down, and now they're all down, so we don't really have a lot of that to watch, but I love watching the naked lacery of the branches. But anyway, I'm looking up and I'm seeing like hundreds of bunches of wild grapes. But they're way up in the treetops, and I'm thinking, I want some of those. And I look down, and then right below it, underneath the leaves, the fallen leaves, are like a whole bunch of fallen grape clusters. So I collected those. I decocted them down into this. So what you're going to do is you're going to strain this out, because the beautyberries are in here, and this is what the beautyberry looks like. This is the last berry of the season. It will last all winter long. It's kind of like the Lord gives berries. I'm going to do a whole class on what berries come out in the spring. Each month a different berry comes out, and there's even berries in the winter, including the beautiful Rush Glabra or the sumac bobs. So anyway, this is going to be one of our drinks for today, and she's going to make it into a syrup. So after you strain this off, you're going to take, you can sweeten it with local honey, or you can sweeten it with monk fruit, or whatever you like, but get it the sweetness you want. Then in the refrigerator, I have, here it is, I have some cold seltzers. Okay, so you're using the funnel, you're going to put the syrup in as much as you think is, you just taste it, and then put this in until it's full at the top, and that'll be one of our drinks. Okay, so you guys get busy, and you're going to need to heat that on the stove. So the pan I have for that is this one right here.
Okay, before I strain it.
What?
After I strain it?
After you strain it, you're going to do that, and you're going to probably need to use the same strainer she has. So, Okay, while you're waiting for that, you could also deberry some of these. These are the sumac bulbs, and all you do, this is one of the drinks we're drinking today, and it's like a lemonade. I call it Sumacade. So you literally take these berries off like this. They have malic acid in them, and so they have a very, very, have you ever tasted one?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
They're really sour.
Super sour. It's like a sweet and sour, it's just like a sweet tart is what it is, but they're very lemony. So you want to just get all of those off, and then you're going to fill it up in here. And in one of my next classes, probably in about 3 weeks, we'll make some za'atar, which is a really delicious Indian, Mediterranean actually, seasoning. Okay, so anybody who runs out of what they're doing and they want to work on this needs to be done. Did you see I labeled? So you want to label first because you want to make sure that you know what it is going in where. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this will be where you cook to get your, if you use sugar especially, you're going to want to break that down. Okay. All right, so after they're done herbing around, we'll come back and we'll talk about our menu, and we'll talk about what the different stations are, and they're going to choose what it is they make for our lunch, and I'll see you then. Okay, so welcome back, and I want to talk to you about what our menu is for our lunch today. It's going to be really wild, and I'm so excited about it. So this is not just things that I collected this week. This is things I've been collecting all season, and this is called the Wild Preserve. And so it's one thing to be able to identify a plant that's edible. It's another thing to be able to gather it and cook it. And it's a whole other story to preserve it for winter use. And so I've done whole classes on that, which I will link in the comments below. But I'm excited because we're getting to use some things I have frozen, some things that I've dried, some things that I've fermented, some things that I've pickled, and it'll just be so fun. So let's go over the menu, and then my friends are going to choose which item they want to cook at, and they'll get a station in my kitchen, and then we're going to cook. And then the next time I share with you will be when you see the food completely ready, and then we get to enjoy it. So I'm excited to share with you what our menu is. So here it is. So our wild salad has garlic mustard, and so these I just collected yesterday, and I did a really good job of cleaning them off. I love to use Thieves Veggie Soak to clean any fruits and vegetables. And you wouldn't believe this, but this is just God's goodness to me. First, I want to share the scripture, which I've told many times. It says, "We look to you to give us our food in due season." This is not in due season. Anyway, you give to us, we gather it up, you open your hand, and we are satisfied. And so I always go out every day with an empty basket, and Lord saying, "Lord, what are you going to fill my basket with today?" And he has never not had it overflowing at the end of my day. But look at this. These are mustard flowers. These grow, they love cold weather, but these usually grow in February and March and April, and here they are in November. So this will go in our salad too. So which one of you wants to make the salad? I think you would love to make the salad. Okay, so Lisa's going to be my salad woman. So these are going to, what I want you to do is I want you to put it on, I've got this white plate right down there, and I want you to have like all of these in one section, and then all of the chickweed in another section, and just have it so that it's completely not mixed until the very end. Okay, so then we have some chickweed, and chickweed loves cold weather, and so it's back. I'm back. I could just eat this whole thing right now, but it's got a really nutty, sweet flavor to it. I've even harvested chickweed under the snow. So it comes up in the early spring, disappears during the summer, which is when you want to gather its seeds and put it in your garden, and then it comes back in the fall. And so there's the chickweed, and there's the garlic mustard. Garlic mustard is a destination plant. When we talked about a wild garden last week, I talked about garlic mustard you do not want on your land. If you have it on your land, get rid of it because it destroys the trees. Actually, I haven't talked about that. That'll be not this week, but next. But there's so much to say about this particular plant. You do not want it on your land. But if you've got it, then for heaven's sakes, eat it because it's super, super nutritious. All mustards are edible. All mustards are edible. And then, look at all this dandelion. So I got dandelion leaves, and those are super high in nutrition as well. And that was just November the 19th. Okay, in my freezer, I have a bunch of, oh, this goes actually to the minestrone soup, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, so with the salad then, she's going to, oh, I found a rose blooming in my front yard, so let's put the rose petals on there too. Rose petals are really high in vitamin C, and they have a velvety texture and are super pretty. And then I have a thing of autumn olive berries, which are right here. So put the autumn olive in one little section too, so it should be very colorful. When you're making a salad, you want to have the greens, and then you want to have some flowers, edible flowers, and you want to have some berries. So we've got these wonderful autumn olive berries, and then or you could use dried cranberries, but because I had these frozen, I've defrosted them for our salad today. Also, you can add some protein, which we're not going to do, but we could put some cheese. So if you want to put some feta cheese in there, or if you want to have, I have mozzarella cheese sticks, you could chop those up and put them in. And then you're going to make a salad dressing. And the salad dressing, we're going to use the Hawthorn vinegar that Allison is decanting right now. And so you want the ratio of vinegar to oil to be 3 to 1. 3 for the oil, 1 for the vinegar, or the acid. And so in this case, the acid is going to be the Hawthorn vinegar. If you want to add some sweetness, a little bit of honey or something, just go ahead and make whatever you want, okay? So that'll be, you're in charge of the salad. And then let's see, let's put Lori in charge of the minestrone soup. So minestrone soup is going to have a lot of different wonderful wild edibles in it. And so let's see, where are they? This one here is poke. So poke comes out in the early spring. Actually, you can get it all season long, because it's amazing to me how sometimes you'll find a baby plant growing even in October. So, but this was collected probably in June, and you want to get them when they're still short, and you've got to prepare them with incredible care, because this is a very poisonous plant. It's probably my very favorite wild edible because it has the most delicious flavor. Have you ever tasted it at my house? Isn't it good? So good. So I make them, I boil them 3 times. I'll please watch my class on poke before you go collecting poke. But Poke Salad Annie by Elvis, he's talking about pokeweed, and poke festivals are all over the South every single spring. They are a thing. This is what kept the South alive during the Civil War, and it's so delicious. But you have to boil out the toxins that are in there, and so this is already prepared. Who's doing this? Lori. Okay, so you're just going to chop this up small, and this is going to go in at the end, like for the last 5 minutes, okay? I've got recipes for you all. So here's, each of you gets a recipe. Here's the recipe for the minestrone soup. Burdock. So where did my burdock slices go? Let me look over here real quick. Huh. Well, it's around. I have a lot of burdock in my freezer. It's already decocted. It's already al dente. And so what I want you to do, Lori, is season it. So I'm sure it's hiding somewhere. But you're going to slice it into julienne slices, just like you're going to slice the carrot. But because it's already al dente, don't add it at the beginning. You can add it like when there's 20 minutes left to go. You've got some evening primrose buds that you can put in at the end, because those are already pretty tender. And what else do I have that's wild that goes into your soup? Oh, the Jerusalem artichokes. Okay, so these have been fermenting for about 3 weeks. And you guys, I have Jerusalem artichokes for you each to take home, so don't leave without them. And I would plant them today. Wow. Amazing. So what you're going to do is you're going to reach in here and grab one of these guys. And I want you to peel off this outer skin. You don't have to get it all, but it's a little bit, has a lot of the inulin in it. The reason why I ferment it is so that it does not make you as gassy. It helps it's digesting. So fermenting foods is digesting foods. And so inulin is difficult. Our bodies won't digest it. So a lot of people call this fartichokes because it really causes serious gas issues. But it's the most important survival plant we could possibly grow because it doesn't need any help to grow, and it will be so prolific. And you will get pounds and pounds from just one plant. And they're beautiful. So they need full sun. So I did a whole class on this if you want to learn more. Then I want you to chop all the vegetables so they're pretty much the same size so that they can, when they're cooking, they all cook similar. So I would do maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10 of these from the fermented one. Okay. Okay. And what else do I have in there? So she's got, and then the whole recipe, everything else is non-wild. Oh, except for the cleavers. This is apple cider vinegar that I made cleavers out of. So this has got all of the wonderful constituents of cleavers are in the vinegar as well. So anytime I can do that instead of just taking a regular vinegar that I buy at the store, that's awesome. So the recipe's all there. So that's for you, Lori dear. Okay, so I'm very bummed because I wanted to show you my beautiful acorn bread that I was going to have completely ready. And I was going to surprise Allison because she's a baker, and I thought, well, Holly can do this. If Allison can do this, Holly can do this. And so I spent maybe 3 hours on Thursday night making my acorn, and when I set the timer to go down to watch it and see if it had raised. It's made with yeast, and it's also gluten-free. So I've got my acorn flour in here. Well, it didn't raise, and look at how crumbly and gross that is. So Allison said that it can be resurrected as crackers, and so I'm going to make some crackers out of it. But that was disappointing. So I'm never going to throw this out because you know how much work it is to gather the acorns and leach them for a week or two. So I will find a way to make them tasty, and that'll be, but that's disappointing to me. All right, and then the last thing that we're going to be making, and this is going to be Allison, is she's going to make a nettle soup. And so these are the nettles, and stinging nettle actually is out now, and it's kind of looking like pick me, but I already had so much of it dried from last spring, and so it is kind of prickly, even dried like this, not terrible, so I wouldn't really handle it a lot. But that also, you've got some Jerusalem artichokes in here that you are going to use for the potatoes. And I don't know, did we decide we weren't going to make nettle soup? I don't remember. Would that make you happy, Jason, if we don't make nettle soup today? I'll tell you what, I'll make nettle soup for class as our cooking demo for next week. And that way you'll get to virtually watch me eat it. Sorry. Okay, and then for our sides, we have dandelion sauerkraut, autumn olive berry applesauce, which I've already made. And then for dessert, I will show you my autumn olive hickory chocolate treats, and I made a pumpkin bread. So that's that, and now we're going to get started. We're going to get busy. Each woman is going to have a different, each chef is going to have a different section in the kitchen that they can work on. Our hickory milk is simmering, and so we'll be able to eat that with our dessert. And I've made a lot of wild teas that we can enjoy. So thank you for joining me. I wish you were all here. Oh, and I wanted to say thank you to Susan Ratcliffe, who sent me this beautiful card. And I'm just really blessed by all of you that are on Wild Blessings, and the relationships I've been developing are pretty special, and I hope one day that you all can make it to my mountain and we can have a feast together. Okay, bye.